100k by 30. I believe this is a term that most of us have probably come across. According to this article by Business Times, it states that this 100k goal by 30 is a pretty common shared milestone among Singaporeans. But considering how expensive it is and also how expensive it will become, I've decided to cover two details. Number one, getting into the nitty-gritty details on how to achieve that six-figure amount, considering the common circumstances and lifestyles that a Singaporean will face. Number two, whether that goal that seems like a must is even necessary in the first place. Let's go! Here's the truth. 100k by 30, there is no particular mathematical basis to this, nor will there be something magical that happens once you achieve this six-figure status. There's nothing that will actually happen. Let's refer to this article by Business Times. It showed this example of a male fresh graduate that started working at 35. Let's assume you're called Joe and you earn a median income of 4.2 grand every single month. You're gonna pay increment of 4% annually and you get a 2-month worth of salary bonus every year. They showed two comparisons. Should Joe save 20% of his take-home income versus saving 35% of the take-home income? You can see the chart right here. If you're saving 20% only of the take-home salary at 30, which in 5 years time, you will not be able to achieve the 100,000. But if you save 35%, you will actually be 100 grand. Yay, congrats! And if you refer to my previous video, you realize that if you save 35% of our income, you're already slightly above average financially in Singapore. Yay, well done. But of course, here are some limitations to this example. It's too straightforward, isn't it? The first one is people may have different starting points in life. It means that, for example, here stated, Joe may not have to pay a student loan. I believe most students have to in Singapore, but this is something that Joe may not have to pay, so have lesser commitment. Point number two, people may start work at different ages. If you are a poly graduate or a JC graduate or even from ITE to poly and even to uni, the age you start working will be different. And if you start working later, of course that puts you at a slightly disadvantage as the title is 100k by 30. And number three, not everybody actually goes to university. So if you're a poly graduate, you can see that the median gross salary is around 2.8 thousand. So that is actually a lot lower than 4.2k for a degree holder. So point number four is people may have different priorities. Saving 100k by 30 may be the goal of Joe, but it may differ for everybody else. Some of us want to get married, want to get a house, and that actually sets us a few steps back from achieving the 100k because that adds on commitment and those big tickets actually takes out a big lump sum from our savings as well. And of course, last but not least, is people have different definitions of what makes up 100,000. Is it in cash? Is it by net worth? That makes a big difference altogether. So, I have a few pointers to add on to this and let's debunk them one by one. Let's have an easier assumption that 100 grand is by cash. How much is 100k actually worth in 5 years time? I've done the math for you. I also factor in an estimated average of 3% inflation. The 100k in 5 years time will become only $85,873. So how much is actually needed to sustain the actual valuation of 100,000? You need approximately $115,927. You need $116,000 to maintain a 100k value. Now, is it achievable? Is it possible? Let's inject some realistic examples, some educated assumptions into this. First one is loans. Those who do have loans, good on you. But I believe most students who graduate from university have loan to pay. And let's assume if you are actually paying 500 a month on loans. How to get the amount, honestly, is just an estimated figure. I have clients that want to finish their loans in a really short period of time. They pay up to 1 or 1.2 grand a month for the loan. And I have some clients that give me just maybe 200 to 300 a month to sustain the loan so that they have comfortable amount for themselves and they can sustain. So I just take 500 in the middle to have a good estimate. So assuming you put 500 a month to the loan, and back to the example of Joe earning 4.2 grand, your take home is only 3360. A good 14.8% is removed from your income. That's a big chunk. And if we do the same example, if you save 20% without any commitment, you're saving 9408. But now you have the education loan. 500 times 12 is 6 grand. You're gonna take away $600. you are left with a mere 3.4k every single year. That's just enough for you to feel comfortable and to breathe. Now, let's go to the 35% column. If you are going at 35%, you are saving 16,464. The same thing with minus 6 grand of the education loan, you are left with 10,464 a year, which that translates to around $872 a month. It seems more comfortable. It seems that, hey, I got more to play with. Perhaps I may invest and save at the same time. So even if I split half to save and half to invest, let's say 400 each, and assume your investment returns at around 8%, 400 a month, 4.8 a year, that will actually amount up to a good 28,159 in 5 years. And also, you have saved up 400 every single month. You do that savings for 5 years repeatedly, it's around approximately $52,000. So good on you, you are kind of halfway there to the 100,000 mark. Let me stretch the mark a little bit. Let's say you save 50% instead of 35%. That is 23,520. You minus 6,000 of education loan, you still have 7,520 every single year. That is around 1,460 a month in savings. Quite a sumptuous amount. And let's split also to half. 750 per month for yourself and 750 per month, let's say, to invest. I input the same numbers of investment assuming 8% return. 750 a month will become 9 grand a year. And you invest that for 5 years, it will amount to around 52,799 in 5 years. Plus your savings, you save half, remember? 9k times 5 years, and you add the numbers together, you're up to 97,899. So let's round up to 98,000. And good, you're really close, or in fact, you're just 2k away. And this is if you save 50% of your savings. So it's possible, but of course, additional caveats is that I never factor any pay increment, so it's more possible. But second is assuming that you are single, because if you are attached, you have mortgage to purchase and buy a new home, you have renovations, and also all this comes at the prerequisite of getting married. So all those are additional costs that will set you 3 steps back in achieving 100,000 by 30. So these are some caveats to take note also. So ultimately, 100k by 30, is it possible? I think there are 2 camps of people in the first place. One actually wants to achieve it, and one feel that, damn, it's a little bit hard, and is it even necessary? So if you belong to any of these 2 camps, keep watching. To achieve 100k by 30, I do have some suggestions that can help you reach there faster and better. On the first note is to focus on growing your income, which have a sub is invest in yourself. You want to be able to upgrade yourself better so that you can strive and aim for more potential promotions or pay increment in your career. That also sets you better. Or also invest yourself in certain skill sets that give you a side hustle so that you have more cash flow and more ability to do point number 2, which is to invest. To invest and grow more money significantly, but of course, do your due diligence before you start investment. And point number 3, I showed it earlier, if you can save 50% ideally, you can be really close to 100k or even achieve more. It's possible because of pay increment you might have, and if you have done the first 2 pointers right, hey, maybe you can achieve more than 100k. But of course, that comes at a really big sacrifice because that puts you at only half of your income that you can use. The remaining 50% you got to spend on your day-to-day, on your entertainment, your insurances, your investments, and all that. So you only have 50% to play with. That's a big sacrifice, and I'm not too sure if anybody or if you are willing to do it. For those that are the second camp, 100k by 30, is it even necessary in the first place? I think it's too much of a stretch. It's okay. It's completely fine. There is no magical thing that will happen if you reach that 6-figure status. And again, there is no basis mathematically to support why it is so important. So it's okay, but that doesn't equate that, alright man, I can overspend, I can do whatever the hell I want. It doesn't mean that. It's going to be prudent in managing your finances. So understand that what you're going through in your life, in your individual life stages, may be different from other people. So as mentioned in the example also, Joe is able to achieve 100k because he may be single, there's no loan to pay, he's gonna get married, he's gonna buy a house, his focus is on 100k. Then it's possible. But what you're going through may be different, and you want to be able to accept that and appreciate that, that you have your own path to walk. And eventually, you reach 100k, which is my third point. Focus on the long run. You will be able to reach a goal that you might want to have for yourself. Even as an example, I have this image here. Warren Buffett only reached a significant amount of wealth at his later age, and even also Bill Gates. In the middle, I'll not take it as it is because it's a dot-com bubble and it crashed, so you kind of set him back a little bit. But he also reached a significant amount of his wealth at a later age. But it's going to focus on the long run and following through what you set out to do, what you want to be, or what you want to achieve. And if you are able to do that, you won't be too far off. Don't worry about it. Last but not least also is, if you're in this camp, you may be open to the risk of peer pressure by the hustle culture. Like what the article mentioned, is a common goal or common milestone that is shared among Singaporeans. So that sets the majority. And if you have the minority, it's inevitable that you have peer pressure, or you have comparison, you have friends, relatives, or people around you in the environment just constantly reminding you, hey, are you different? Are you not doing things correctly? That's the risk you'll be exposed to, and it may tempt you to actually steer away from what you want. Not that it's a bad thing to steer away, but ultimately you got to stay really true and understand what you're getting yourself into. Because if you're earning 4.2 grand on the example as Joe, and you have a lot of milestones ahead, not just 100k, you want to have a house, you want to get married, you might want to get a car, and you have loans to pay, you'll realize that, hey, it's really hard, and you want to understand what you're getting yourself into. But if not, you want to stay true to what you want to do for yourself, and it's fine. Okay, so this is my take on 100k by 30, and I hope you guys take away something from it. Let me know in the comments below on what your thoughts about this, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.